Kevin is home. Yay. Hi, honey.
Hi.
Oh, and you just put the awning out, getting our interview room ready.
Come join me.
And he wanted to know if I had a drink ready for him. Like a good wifey. Look, honey.
Good little wifey.
I have something for you to drink when you come home from a hard day at school.
Looks like pond scum. It's kind of green and gooey looking.
I thought it was more yellow looking. That's not pond scum, my darling.
Oh, it's frog piss.
Nice. Okay. Well, actually, it's a really healthy juice with.
Is there fruit juice in there?
That is fruit juice.
Wow.
It's got mango and pineapple and all sorts of healthy, wonderful things. So, but you know, I guess if you think it tastes like frog piss, I'm surprised. Is that a Canadian thing? Do you guys try out frog piss?
I said
That's
it
really
looks
good.
like it. It looks like it.
Looks like
You
it.
ever squeeze the piss out of a frog? Anyway, it doesn't taste like that. It tastes like a good fruity drink. Oh.
Great. This is a lovely start to our video. So, hey, comment below. What do you think about frog pee? I'd like to at least just say pee. You're the trucker. I'm just the wife. I'd like to keep some refinement.
Anyway,
Yeah, how was school today? We're on day
day
4
4
of
on
week 2.
So day 4 on the range. So this morning I got to back up one of the tractors and hook up to a trailer.
Oh, here come the hand movements again.
So we
This
could
is
set
good.
it up
Yeah.
for our practices today.
Good. And I'm so much more comfortable you waving your hands when you're not actually trying to hold the wheel of
Anyway,
the car, because you would never do that in the truck.
So then I
right?
then I
Not in the truck.
waited
Yeah, he waited. Like I'm waiting for an answer on that.
until it was my turn to do a backup maneuver, an offset reverse.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like four or five before me. Then I got to do the maneuver, and then I was studying and I was talking to people, and then the instructor was going down the list.
Is this the same guy you mentioned yesterday?
Yeah, Richard's the instructor, and
Richard.
Dan got his turn before lunch, and then one other
Who's
guy.
Dan?
Dan's from Flagstaff. Dan's like a little older than me.
Okay.
So I think we're the 2 oldest guys in the class.
Wisest.
Anyway, so then after lunch, I looked at the list and I thought I got a long wait, so I'm gonna get out my inspection list and I'm gonna go do something new. So I went, I pretty much have the front half down pretty good. So I started behind the cab and the drive axles, the kingpin and the slider.
What is a kingpin?
The kingpin comes down from the trailer and connects to the fifth wheel of the truck.
'Cause that usually has a different meaning.
Okay. So anyway,
But in trucking, what is its purpose?
that's where the trailer connects to the truck, and it's a pivot point. Look right there on that RV. You'll see a kingpin hanging down.
I'm not turning my camera
It's
right
a
now.
fifth. It's where the fifth wheel connects to the trailer, and when the tractor turns, that's where the trailer pivots.
Pivots. Okay. So
Follows the
kingpin
tractor.
because it's very important, obviously.
Oh yeah. So anyway, I'm working my way down the trailer and making sure I got everything right on my list and saying all the words right. And I was way at the back, and I hear someone yelling my name. It sounded like one of the instructors, so I came running up. Kevin Sloan, yes sir.
Were you in trouble?
And then he called Dan Barton, and Dan was just walking over.
Uh-oh.
So he says, "You 2 guys, go over to that truck over there. You're gonna go for a ride."
Oh
And
boy.
we looked at each other and we're like, "What?"
What?
Like we're not the best at maneuvering trucks. We're not like there are other guys who were there last week who we thought would be advancing ahead of us, and they are very good at the maneuvers and they know their stuff really well. So I don't know why we were picked. Maybe because we're the oldest.
They thought it would take you the longest?
I have no idea. Maybe we need extra help. But anyway.
Or maybe you are just humble, honey. Maybe you're just so humble, which is a Canadian, character trait. Because maybe you're better than you think.
Anyway, enough of the psychology lesson. So there were 2 students who were getting into this truck with an instructor, and we were talking, and they're both being tested tomorrow. So this was like their last practice run on the street. And we still couldn't figure out why Dan and I were going with them, but we all got in the truck. So there's 5 of us. And the student, we had to do a little paperwork first. The instructor wanted to see our learner's permit and our medical card. And then he signed something or other, and then we got in the truck. The student took us out and over on towards the 202. And we got on that going south. And I was watching him shift and how he was flicking the selector and when he was shifting and the revs and everything. So the seat I had, I could see the dashboard. We got that truck up to 55 miles an hour. Woo-hoo! And on the second exit, we came off. So we had a little highway drive there, and then we were in this semi-urban sort of industrial area, but we basically did a 1 mile, 1 mile, 1 mile square, making left turns, and I lost count. I'm sure it was an hour. We were going around like a mile, a mile, a mile, a mile.
Did you get dizzy going in a square/circle?
No, but I didn't bring a drink.
Oh.
And so I'm really focusing and paying attention as much as I can. And then we pulled over at one spot, and the 2 students got out, and the instructor got out, and
left you and
the
Dan.
instructor had a cigarette, and the 2 guys they're standing there yakking, and Dan and I are looking at each other like, "Gee, Forrest, what do we do now?" "I don't know, Bubba." You know, "I think we're going to sit here." "Okay." So we just sat there, like we weren't told to do anything, so I guess we'll sit here. And then they get back in the truck. Now the other student takes the wheel. He does the same thing. Square in this box, time and time and time. And then we saw another truck from our school doing the same box, so we caught up with them eventually.
So you're chasing each other around that same square?
After a while, we were both pulled over at the same spot again, and everybody got out, so we got out, and we're standing there. So it's like a little break, you know, after you've done so much.
Is it determined by your instructor's nicotine requirements?
No, it wasn't about that.
Okay.
We stopped, and everybody got out of both trucks, and then we were talking to the 2 students, and the instructors were talking and all this.
And did the other truck also have 2 novices along?
Not from our class. We thought we'd see someone else from our class in that other truck, and it wasn't. There was a student doing his road work, and there were 2 other students in the seats behind him, and so they all got out, and I don't know any of those people. Never met the instructor before or anything, but
well, that's really exciting.
so we stayed and we talked to the 2 guys that drove our truck, and we learned a lot from them, and we learned that they're both testing, and one guy's already got a job driving. I think his dad or something works for a company, and they haul he's going to be on a flatbed hauling pavers.
Ooh.
So he doesn't have to tarp, he's just going to strap it down, and he's already been on a couple of runs with his dad, so he knows what to do and everything. Well, that's pretty good. And so he's going to test tomorrow, and then he's got a job Monday if he can get over to motor vehicles and get his CDL.
Wow.
But you know, Fridays is usually a lot of lineups there. So, but anyway, he's already on his way.
Wow.
And so we were watching them shift and everything, and it was scary for us in the back because making left turns, they came, like the light would turn, or they'd be at a stop sign or a light. And at the one stop sign, it was a T intersection. So they'd be looking, all clear, okay. So they come out and they shift up to another gear, and then they start making the turn. But from where we're sitting, it looks like he's about to ride the curb and up into somebody's yard or hit a fire hydrant or something. We're like, whoa, and then, whoa, round we go, man. We're like, so I'm looking at his mirrors and saying, sure enough, you gotta go as far out as you can, otherwise the trailer comes short and you could hit somebody at the intersection or whatever. You don't want to go with your trailer over the yellow line into the oncoming lane. And then we did it at a traffic light. So now there's cars facing us, and we got the green light, but we were way up, and I thought we're gonna hit that car, and then whoop, around we go. And at one point there was a trucker coming from the left, and we had the green, and we had the right of way, but this trucker was right up at the intersection, and he was going to make a left to go this way, the way we were headed, and we were making a left like this, and the instructor said, don't do it, stop. And we stopped and sat through an entire green light to wait for that guy to go out, because our tail might have cut his nose off
because he was so far forward
he
already.
was right up on the line, and if we had come, if the back of our trailer had come like over that yellow line, it would have been a disaster. So we sat there and waited through the whole light, even though we had the right of way and there was no traffic coming this way. We could have gone ahead.
And no worry about people behind you. No. Too bad. Better than an accident.
Don't worry about people behind us. You know how slow we were going? It was like 40 miles an hour on the one stretch. We'd be doing 40, we'd be doing 35, and then a quarter of a mile from the intersection, we'd start gearing down, and slower and slower. So get in the turn lane, slower, slower. Like, is this really necessary? Oh yeah. And the instructor's not saying anything. And then when we were talking to the guys, they're like, when we started, he would tell us every time to shift and what to do and all this and that. And now it's just in our heads. He's not saying anything now, but we already know this is where we slow down, and this is where we gear down, and this is how we're going to take this corner.
And they probably like hear him in their heads.
They do. That's what they said. We can hear him in our heads.
Yeah.
And so we did this. We boxed it, and then the second time we stopped for our little break, the first guy got back behind the wheel, and he said, we were standing there talking, and he says, I'm going to take the truck back now, but I don't think we're going to the yard. I think we're going to park over a little bit, and then you guys will get to actually drive the truck around the block.
What?
And Dan and I are looking at each other and like, nah, yeah, this is crap. So we get in the truck, yeah. And then he takes us back, and we pass the school. And the instructor, he's like, yeah, take that next corner. So we take the next corner. And then he says, now turn right. And I'm looking, and there's Werner's Terminal, where we took the tour yesterday.
Yes.
But we took that right turn.
Yep.
And pulled up right before the entrance into their terminal. And he said, pull over right here.
Is that the same direction where we passed the truck yesterday from Phoenix? Remember we passed a
I don't
Phoenix
remember where.
Truck Driving Institute truck with the flag on the side?
Yeah, I don't remember where we passed that truck, but where
it was heading straight towards the terminal.
Where you and I turned to go into the terminal, we stopped just before that. And then the instructor says, all right, we're going to let you two try it out. Who's going first? And Dan says, you. So I said, I'll go first. So I stood up real quick and made my way. We had to switch places around.
Maybe they heard you were at Werner yesterday, and that's why they're doing this right in front of their entrance.
I was wondering if somebody was rubbing my nose in that. You know, oh, you're over at Werner, huh? And then I thought, they're probably in there watching, and they're gonna see me screw up. And I'll never get a job there. They'll be like, oh, that was Kevin.
Plan.
Yeah, that was Kevin screwing up. He's not touching our nice blue trucks. So the first thing I did was hit my head on the storage compartment above the driver's seat.
That's
really
like
hard.
That's an initiation.
Really hard. And then I sat down and got my seatbelt on and adjusted the seat, and I adjusted the mirrors. And he said, take your time, get everything set up right, don't worry about it. So I'm checking and looking at the gauges and everything else. And I should have looked at the odometer. I thought I was just going around the block once or twice. So I thought it would be cool to see just how far I went, because I should put this in my logbook. This is the first time I drove.
Yeah.
I should
on public streets. They let you out after this little bit of back and forth in the yard. They've put you out on public roads.
Now on the range,
it's kind of scary actually.
In the parking lot,
yeah,
we start off in low gear, and you let the clutch out. And you don't even touch the gas. So I looked at him and I said, "I'm starting in second." He says, "Yeah, you start in second." I said, "Do I just let the clutch out, or do I give it some gas?" He said, "Out here, you got to give it gas. It won't start unless you do that." So it's just like when you drive a car in that respect. So, okay, I got it going. Come up, I made the first corner nice and wide, and then I tried to shift into the next gear. I'm grinding the gears away, and he reaches over and he slams it up. So I thought, oh, okay, I'm doing something wrong, and then I got it going again, and then I come up to the stop sign and got it into the gear. making my next left turn, and I was able to get moving and then shift up and then make the turn. And I made it super wide, and it worked out pretty good. But then I went to shift to the next gear, because now I'm on a straight stretch for a block. Again, I started grinding and all this. He's like, rev it up, and he slams it down again. I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? So I'm thinking I pushed the clutch in too far, and I got to get the RPMs just right. I thought it would just drop in, and it doesn't. You got to push the clutch in, take it out of gear, let the clutch out, give it a tap on the gas, push the clutch in, and then drop in.
I'm sorry. Hold on here now. Because our viewers couldn't see this full demonstration. Go ahead.
So basically you're double clutching in neutral. So push the clutch in and take it out of gear. Let the clutch out. Now when you're ready to go into the next gear, just tap the gas and then push the clutch in, and it'll drop into the next gear. If you don't tap the gas, it won't synchronize properly. And that's where it was grinding. So I was not. So then I learned, when you're upshifting, give it a little tap on the gas. When you're downshifting, give it a big shot of gas, because you really got to get the RPMs up for it to go into a lower gear.
Okay.
And after I got that, every shift was perfect. And I went around that block. I lost count at 4. I don't know how many times I went around the same block. And a few times I'm coming along and there's Werner, and a truck comes out of their yard, and now there's, you know, me and a Werner passing each other. I mean, there's a Werner parked over here, and I'm going by and looking at the driver and all this.
Wow.
So I'm right in front of Werner.
So now you've passed
Round
other
the block.
trucks already. This
Yeah.
is you're really
Round
this
and round
is
and
it.
round, and then
And how did it feel?
felt good once I got the hang of the shifting and everything, and I was taking the corners wide, and I'm looking at my mirrors all the time, and I got, you know, signaling correctly and all that stuff. I got the hang of downshifting okay, and to the point where downshifting was really smooth, and nobody jerking. The first time I hit the brakes, I almost threw the instructor out of the seat. Super touchy brakes, and we had a discussion about that at one point before I was driving, and I'm like, are the brakes, like, they're either all the way on or nothing? It's like 100% as soon as you tap that pedal. So if you want to slow down, you just let in the clutch, the truck will start slowing down, and then you really lightly touch the brakes. It's not like a car where the more pedal you put, the more braking you get. It's all the way on.
Did they give you the reason for that? That seems really strange.
It's air brakes. But if you had like 40,000 pounds in the trailer, that's what it would take to slow you down. Is you step on that brake, and it would take a while to slow down. The trailer's empty. There's no weight to it. It's like full brake, you know. So the first stop sign, I almost knocked him out of his seat. After that, I was real careful with that brake pedal. So then it was Dan's turn, and so I stopped and I parked, and the parking brake on, put the hazards on, and he said, "What's the mileage?" So he's recording how far you drive. That's going to be a record they keep.
So you could ask Richard how far you actually drove.
I told him the mileage, and I said, "How far did I drive?" He said, "Oh, like 5 miles."
Really?
5 miles? I just went around the block, like, I don't know, 6 times. Can't be 5 miles. Maybe though.
Wow.
Maybe. We'll go in the car and see how far that is once around.
Okay. If you
Anyway.
just keep circling around.
Yeah. So
I'll bring
then
a barf bag.
Dan got in the seat and adjusted it and everything, and off he went. And he had one or two missed shifts, and making that first corner, you got to start off in a gear, and then shift to the next gear, and then start cranking the wheel. And he was like half shifting and half cranking, but he got it. We didn't die. We didn't kill anybody. We didn't do any damage.
Yep.
And
No
then
injury.
After the first round, he was smooth as silk, because we both driven standards before. He used to drive farm machinery when he was a kid. He grew up on a farm. He said it's just like that. He was downshifting without a hitch. Round we went, I think 3 times, and then the instructor says, "All right, you're going to take it back to the yard." So the next corner, instead of turning toward Warner, we turned right. And at the next corner, our range is right there. So he like brought it in real easy, real slow, creeping into the yard, and made the turns nice and wide, so it didn't clip anything or anybody, and parked the truck. And it was like, he was like super energized. He was so riled up with adrenaline, he was almost bouncing up and down. Like he was really happy about it, but he also got like a big thrill.
So we are back. We have just learned that if we are running the video on my phone and somebody calls, it stops the video. So I will try and remember to put airplane mode on when I start filming. That way we don't get interrupted. So we are back for part 2. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, when we got back to the yard, we uncoupled the trailer and Dan parked the tractor, and that was it. It was almost 1:30 by the time we did all that. So it was time to wrap things up anyway. And we went back to the other instructor and checked where we were on the list, and just about everybody had gotten a second turn that day, except for us and maybe 2 or 3 other people. So we'll probably get our first crack at offset parking tomorrow morning.
Wow, but you've already driven 5 miles.
Yeah, and we still couldn't figure out why it was us. Nobody else in our group got to go for a ride that day.
You're special,
so I
honey.
don't know what put us ahead. We're still kind of shaking our heads about it, you know.
Maybe they heard you complain yesterday about how you wished you had more
wheel time.
More wheel time. They were like,
Yeah.
we'll show him.
Yeah.
Did you make a delivery while you were out? 5
Yeah.
miles? You could have been delivering things already?
No, that was it. One guy come up to us. We're standing there talking about it, and he comes up and says, "So, where'd you guys go? What'd you do?" I said, "Well, we went to a truck stop and had lunch and saw a movie and all." He's like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I'm really happy for you, honey. That's really great.
Yeah, it was a good thing, good day. But like I said, I didn't bring a drink. Neither of us. We didn't know what we were in for. So after, because this was like 10:30 in the morning,
and they didn't say.
And we came back at 1:30.
Wow.
And along about noon, I'm like, it's kind of hot. I'm really thirsty. It's very dry. So yeah.
So maybe from now on, always bring your drink along.
Just take a big gulp.
If you get in the truck there.
So
Good
this
thing
is the
I
desert.
had the frog pea ready for you when you got home.
Yeah, thanks, honey.
Delicious electrolytes and minerals and vitamins. Yummy.
Yes.
Wow, that is awesome. I'm so happy for you. That's very exciting. And now we are going to get ready because we are heading to the DMV because there was a little glitch when Kevin went the other day, and we'll tell you about that in another video. So for now, Kevin, so happy for you. Thanks for sharing with us. And all you guys at home, remember to like the video if you liked it. And you know, you can leave comments down below, and remember to subscribe. And that's it for now. From Tanya and Kevin, who drove 5 miles today, with love. Bye.
Bye.